Hello boys and girls, and this is Mr. N, and I'm talking about things that you can do for Fiesta. Because when we have our early release day, we're going to do some Fiesta activities, and I'm going to show you how to do two different activities that you can do in your classroom. The first one is the tissue paper flowers, and we'll have the paper cut and ready for you. What you'll need to do is you need to get at least 7 sheets, in different colors. You don't want them all to be the same. And we'll sit there and we'll match them up. They're cut to be about the same size. If one's a little bit larger or smaller, don't worry, that's okay. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you see I'm using different colors. 6. Sometimes it's hard for Mr. N to count, but I'm going to get it. 6, and we'll do a dark green down here. 7. Now, you've got your tissue paper, and this is really important. You've got a long side and you've got a short side. You want to fold the short side if you want a flower that looks like that you could wear. If you fold the long side, you get this really tall flower, which is, it's not wrong, but it just doesn't look quite as good. So now I'm going to take the paper and I'm going to fold it back and forth like a fan, okay? And you have to remember to fold it back and forth. You don't want to just roll it, because then it won't open up. So back and forth like a fan. And your teacher will be in the classroom to help you. So I've got it together like this. Now this is where you're going to need some help from your teacher, or you're going to need to staple it in the middle. I've got a stapler. If you were in the art classroom, I have a lot of staplers, but I'm going to staple it. And it's almost ready to open up, because this is what it kind of looks like when it's opened up. But you need to cut the end. You don't have to cut the ends, but then you get a square flower. So I always tell students to cut the ends. You take your scissors, and you usually cut it rounded like a popsicle stick. If you want it pointed, you can do that too. That's okay. All right, so now we're ready to pull the flower apart. And what we have to do is we go into the middle and we start pulling the petals. I'm going to call them petals, or the sheets of paper. We're going to start pulling them toward the center. And you try to pull one at a time, and really try to pull it all the way to the center, okay? Because that's really going to make it look like a real flower. So here I go, I'm going up. Because I've had students in the past that get kind of like halfway, and they go, Mr. Ed, I'm done. Well, you're not done. Look at all this stuff down here. When you're pulling the tissue and you tear a piece, don't worry, that's okay. It'll still look like a flower. But remember to try to pull each layer. That's why if you use different colors, it's easier to see. I know some of you like to just do one color, and that's not wrong, but it's a little more difficult. If you've done this before and you know how to do it, and you say, I want a white flower, well, then you can have at it. But if you've not done this before, it's usually better to do a bunch of different colors. You usually want to work with 7, though. If you get a little more than 7, that's okay. Because if you get less, then your flower just doesn't. And you see I'm pulling it up toward the center, okay? I'm making sure it's pulled up toward the center, because that's really going to make it look like a flower. And we've got some nice colors, too. And then we got the blue, and then we're about to finish up right here. Now, if you have any of those, what I call pipe cleaners, or art sticks, you can always wire the flower, but you don't have to. And you can put the wire through here like that if you want it to hang. But you can just leave it like this. And you can see, it's pretty nice. It's a big, nice flower. Okay, and that didn't seem too hard. For you little kids, it might take a little more time. Just remember, you got to fold it over and back and forth like a fan, and cut and fold the short side, and try to cut the ends pointed, or like a popsicle stick. Okay, now I'm going to show you the other thing. It's called the Fiesta Rattle. Now with the Fiesta Rattle, you're going to need 2 pieces of construction paper. And I'm going to do a red, and I'm going to do a blue. But you decide which colors you want. Now, you put them together, and if you need, you can use a ruler and draw a line across here, because you need to make a crease right here. But you don't have to, but if you need to, you can draw a line so you can see. But I'm just going to fold it. It doesn't have to be an inch exactly, but I'm going to fold it about an inch, maybe a little more. I'm going to fold it like this, and I'm going to push down really hard, and you're going to see that crease right there. Now, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut all the way to the crease, not past it. And you want to cut these lines about as thick as your pinky. They can be thicker, but generally it's better if you can cut them as thick as your pinky. And you'll see what's going to happen when we get ready to cut. Now, I'm not going to cut this one all the way through because I've already cut another one. But you're going to keep cutting. If you make a mistake and cut a piece off, that's okay. It'll still work. So I'm going all the way to the crease. If you're in kinder or first grade and you have a hard time cutting both pieces of paper at the same time, you can always separate it and cut one at a time and then put them together. So I've already cut this one right here. And you can see now it's ready to make the rattle. I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it. I'm going to roll it up like this. And then I'm going to take some tape. Now I have some clear tape. You could use a stapler too, but take the clear tape. If you don't have clear tape, masking tape will work. Tape it up. Now, this looks like a rattle, but this is it's like a pom-pom. It's kind of a little bit boring, so we want to make it a little bit more interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crimp and roll each one of these lines. Now this takes a while and you have to be patient. So I'm going to crimp first. To crimp, you just fold back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, kind of like we did on that flower with a fan. You go all the way to the center, and then look, you've got that crimp. See that crimp right there? Okay, so on the orange ones, I'm going to roll. And you say, well, Mr. N, how do you roll? Well, get you a colored pencil or a crayon. And then all you have to do, and you have to just wrap it around it. And you go all the way. And then you pull the crayon out. And there you go, you got it curled. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this until we're finished. Now I'm going to do a few more, because I don't know if you guys want to sit around and watch me do this till the very end. But this is where students have to be patient, because some students they do 2 or 3 and they go, I'm done. No, you're not done. You got to do them all. I always make the analogy of, say you were a mountain climber, and you were going to climb to the top of Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, and you got 10 yards from the top, and you said, oh, I'm not going to go any further. No, so you want to make sure you finish all of these. So it will take a little bit of time, but they look so good when you do this. You just go back and forth. Mr. N does it pretty fast because I've been doing this for a long time. And you see it's starting to take shape. And crayon, though you can use a colored pencil. So I'm going to keep doing this. And I recommend that you do crimping and rolling, because some students say, well, I'll just do all rolling. Well, that's okay, but it looks kind of boring. I say, alternate. That's a big word. Alternate, that means going back and forth, just like I'm doing with this crimping. And you really should crimp them individually and roll them individually, because I've had students before, oh, I'll just take all of them and roll them at the same time. Well, they don't. It just doesn't look as nice. And this is a fun activity, so there's nobody, there's no contest as to who finishes first. So take your time, and you can see it's starting to take shape. Oh, I need to roll this one. I kind of did alternate. I did the orange rolling, and I did the blue crimping. But you could do it, you don't have to do it like that. You could do it, crimp some orange, roll some orange, roll some blue. So you can see it's starting to take shape. And do like this. All right. And we're going to roll. Let's see how it's looking. You can see it's crimping and rolling. And I think you should be able to do this on your own. I don't know if you want me to finish this or not. I'm going to ask my cameraman, do you want me to finish this?
We can stop.
Okay, I'm going to stop. So you can see, and when it gets all done, you leave up, go Fiesta. And you've got the little handle. And of course, you could do more than 2 colors, but usually 2 colors, when you get 3 colors, it takes a little bit longer, and if you want to take that time, you certainly can. But 2 colors will work really well. And of course you want to use contrasting colors like orange and blue, red and green, pink and green, things that stand out when they're next to each other. Okay? So I hope you enjoy these Fiesta activities, and I look forward to seeing what you do. And Viva Fiesta! See you later.